Do we have to close that door?
What time? On the 17th.
Hi. Hello, everybody. You already know who this is. This is Butterscotch. And you know what? I am honored again today. I have two fabulous guests that's on my showcase today, on this show today. And it's something that is really needed to talk about. They both have their own organizations, which they do involve the community. And I was blown away by one of the gentlemen, his name is STARDA, who introduced me to this young lady, whose name is Jenny. She started a foundation about 3 years ago, is that correct?
Yep.
And she started it under her mother's name, which is Rebecca. And it's an organization that deals with families that suffer from trauma. And I was so blown away by me reading her documentary that it brought tears to my eyes because the simple fact, let me take my glasses off now, for the simple fact that, you know, I have a daughter who has suffered from trauma since we moved on Staten Island. As you already know, and some of you already know, my daughter was brutally assaulted when she had multiple concussions to her head due to gang-banging girls who jumped her that she didn't even know. But to sum it up, if I knew about this organization, from what I've been reading, I think this would have been ideal that might have been able to help my daughter. But anyway, we're going to get to it because this young lady has a lot to share. Her organization has grown a lot. So we're going to just get into it. And also, Mr. Starter, he needs no introduction. He's been affiliated with the community in Staten Island and other boroughs as well. He's well known as well. So I admire both of these young people up here today. And I call them young because, you know, I'm up there in age. They could be my children again. And this makes me very proud to see young people, adults, doing their thing in the community. And they do make a difference, and we need more people like them. So let's get started. First, let me introduce her. This is Jenny Grace. Jenny, I want you to tell everybody about your foundation that you started under your mother's name, which her name is Rebecca, and everything.
Sure.
So let's get started.
Sure.
Go ahead.
My name is Jennifer Grace Jennings, and I am the executive director and founder of Rebecca's Little Survivors Foundation. And what we do, we support children and their families who've endured grief and loss through outdoor exploration, literacy, fitness, and the arts.
Right. Okay.
And we provide them with coping skills and unique resiliency tools to help them cope and overcome and essentially win at life.
Is it basically about the tragic of them losing somebody dear to them in life that passed away?
Not
or
necessarily.
Is it about, does it deal with domestic violence and all that stuff combined with trauma?
Trauma, period.
Abuse.
Trauma comes in so many different
Yes,
forms.
It does. Yes, it
you
does.
know, from losing everything you had in a fire,
yes.
you know, to, you know, finding out that you have stage 4 cancer. You know, children endure all sorts of loss.
Yes.
And it comes in all sorts of different ways. So yes, we support children in any capacity who have endured or experienced grief or loss.
Right. So what is your age range that you take kids from? What age?
Generally, we work with, and we like to focus on children who are between the ages of 5 and 16, and we differentiate the learning process.
Okay.
For instance, one of our partners is Harlem School of the Arts, and through that partnership, we provide coping skills through dance.
Wow.
And so
it's a good relaxation.
with that,
I have to agree with that.
yeah,
Totally.
You know, from ballet to hip hop, ballet, hip hop, and all in between. And so, you know, we differentiate the learning. We have the younger kids in a different room, learning how to cope through dance, and then we have a different coping session with some of the others.
Do you have some? I'm pretty sure you have some slides you would like to show us with.
Sure.
With them. Can we see it, my director, please? And she's going to talk about each one of them. Okay.
All right. So this is our flyer for our camp. We host 4 different programs throughout the year, and this is the Little Survivors Mini Camp, what we host during the summer months.
Okay.
The Little Survivors Mini Camp is essentially to support children solely who've endured any sort of grief or loss. And we've partnered up with the National Park Service to provide this camp.
Wow.
We're in our 3rd year. Yeah, and they're providing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. They're providing all 40 sleeping bags and tents for our children for the overnight camping experience. So this year,
that is wonderful.
It's an overnight camping experience, and I'm super excited about that.
I'm happy for you because
Thank
you know what? I remember when I was a kid.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my mother made us I was a brownie, and I was a Girl Scout, and to be honest, I hated it. I liked the camping part, but my sister exceeded more than me with that. But I like the camping part. I like outdoor stuff. I like going to Bear Mountain. I like the canoe, and I like the water.
Love it. Love it.
So I think essentially this is a good exercise for anybody. Not just for our children, but for people, adults, that might be having impairment and stuff like that. But I know that's a different topic. But I had to bring it up because we got a lot of sick people out there that need to get out and work out and get some nature in their life.
Absolutely. And outdoor exploration is key. It's essential. It's the outdoors. Get close to nature, release, relax, and reflect on life. So I enjoy the outdoors.
I know I enjoy it too.
We're working with the U.S. Coast Guard as well, so they'll be providing an activity for our youth next weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What else does she have to show us, Miss Jenny, that you want to talk about regarding this program? Because this program, it has advanced so well, and like I said, I've been reading up on your documentary. I didn't get to read everything through, but what I did see, I was just so amazed with it. And tell me about that.
Sure. So the gentleman in the middle is Aubrey Lynch. He sits on the board of directors for Harlem School of the Arts. He's also the last dancer that Alvin Ailey handpicked for the Alvin Ailey Dance Company.
Wow.
Yes. And he also serves as choreographer for The Lion King on Broadway. So
what?
It is, yes. he even, get this, he's doing this absolutely free for our mini campers. This is our 3rd year working with him.
Wow.
And
God bless him.
Yes, this is our 3rd year working with Aubrey. Aubrey even hosted a master class for Oprah and Gail over in South Africa at her school. So yeah, he's pretty impressive. I'm happy to be working with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. This is what I'm talking about. See, you got people out there like him. He's been with a lot of different type of celebrities, and he didn't let the fame go to his head, and he's still giving back. That's what we need more of, people. I keep saying it, and I have to keep saying it. Yeah. I have to, because it's just so rewarding,
It keeps us grounded, know, and it keeps us balanced. And it's so very important, to give back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you something else, Jenny.
Okay.
Jenny, I know your mother had passed in 2000, right?
2001.
2001. God bless her. God bless her for having a beautiful daughter who continued to make this go on, and honored your mother. I think that is so rewarding just by itself, and I commend you on that one.
Thank you so much.
I really do.
Thank you.
I know what it's like to lose somebody, believe me. I lost my mom, and I know she's proud of me too because I'm still fighting.
There you go.
I'm not giving up.
There you go.
But I wanted to ask you that you want to speak a little bit about, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you have other siblings and stuff, and how has it been for you with you doing this and being real? I just don't know how to say it. You just give it to us. That's all I can say, because I'm getting emotional right now. I heard part of your story, but I feel that the world needs to hear it.
Yeah, it's really difficult, honestly, for me to discuss and share and talk about it.
Yes.
But that's when you're working in your purpose.
Yes.
When you're moved by the work. My mom died back in 2001. She had a headache. We went to the emergency room, and within a couple of hours, she was pronounced dead.
Right.
I had an autopsy report done, and to this day, I have no cause of death, I was told. So Stemming from her death, I obtained 4 court cases.
Raising your siblings,
Yep,
right?
yep. I'm the oldest, so I raised my 2 siblings, obtained legal guardianship of my youngest sibling, who had obesity. She was battling so many different issues, diabetes, a lot of different things, and it was difficult. You know, I learned a lot. I had to go to probate court. Learned a lot about life insurance and the importance of life insurance in our communities.
Oh yeah.
You know, I buried my mom. You know, I eulogized my mom. You know, and those, instead of focusing on the hurt and the sorrow and the pain and the absence of her, I chose to focus on my faith, on her courage, and it gets me through every day.
God bless you, girl. And that's how you came about with this program.
Yeah, well, you know, one reason I came about this program is because when you experience tragedy, people say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'll be there for you. I'll reach out to you. You know, I'm gonna come by.
I heard it all.
I'm gonna come bring you my brother and I, we laugh now. A lady came to the house that week, you know, and everybody's there, you know, they want to be seen. But everybody's there, and the lady came by, she said, you know, I'm gonna bring you guys Sunday dinner every Sunday. She never, ever brought a Sunday dinner, you know. And so,
you know what? It's just a shame, though, you know. And I'm glad. Reason why I brought that up, because recently, I have to say this, you know, this is Butterscotch Hour, and you know what? You know, I experienced so many different traumas myself, and the one that's really dear to my heart, of course, is my children that I birthed for 9 months. Was happy carrying these 2 beautiful daughters, but at the same time, one of my child has developed a lot of trauma that has happened to her, which can cause her to be impaired mentally as far as her brain waves. But other than that, you know, normally when I go on social media, I never talk really in detail about what I'm going through, my hurt and pain. So recently, I got on there. I took my hat off, had my locks out, showed how I look at night when I go to bed, and I broke down on social media. And you know, like you said, people reach out, and some reach out and some don't. But most of the time, what I found why I shut down, excuse me, when I shut down, is because of this carpet. This carpet got too much dust. Excuse me, y'all. It's dust. Why I shut down is because I get very impatient with people say they're there for you, and then they don't come through for you. They sit up, it's like they want to hear your sympathetic problem, but then they want to gossip about it. And it's so sad. And I tell anybody, be careful what you do out there, because when you do that to somebody, it might come back in 3 folds and hurt yourself. Excuse me. But anyway, take the camera off me and talk to them for a minute while I'm talking, because I'm coughing. I got dust in my chest. And this carpet on this floor. I'm sorry. I'm at CTV, y'all. I'm really upset right now because of the dust. I'm allergic to it. But anyway, like I said.
What you're saying is so true.
Go ahead. Feed on it.
Because, you know,
go ahead.
If Butterscotch is dealing with that and feels the pain of that, imagine a child. You know, how a child feels when, you know, they're going through trauma, stress, something that is, you know, abnormal, you know. It's very difficult for us as adults, so just imagine, you know. And I've been a child. I was a teenager when that happened to me. So I wanted to give back, because there were great people who, you know, relatives and people that weren't related to me who cared,
yes,
and who reached out every now and again, and who people who didn't even know me, strangers who wanted to support and be helpful. And so I wanted to pay it forward and do that for other children. But if there was a camp back in the day when I was a teenager, I would have totally went to a camp that focused on grief and loss.
Yeah.
Most definitely, because it's hard to discuss the loss of a mom when you're a teenager and your peer still has their mom.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to discuss those sorts of things. So I kind of kept quiet about it.
And you know what? And I think, it's good that this organization exists because they need more organizations like this. You have people that's losing family left and right more and more now than ever. We deal with the epidemic of cancer. We're dealing with diabetes, which continues to exist. We're dealing with all types of elements that these people are taking pills like crazy. And that's what they're living on. And that's sad.
And let's even talk about...
That's another topic. I got to get the medical in here.
What we do, unfortunately, in our community, we deal with homicide. We deal with murder. I have 2 children, and my son, who is now 4 years old, my ex, he was killed when my son was 6 months old.
Wow.
When we were on vacation for my family reunion, I went to church, and he was calling my phone, and I come to find out he was calling my phone as he was getting killed, as he was being murdered.
Jesus.
In front of my 9-year-old stepson.
Jesus.
So imagine the trauma, the 9-year-old who is now 13.
Wow.
What the trauma that he has, he's dealing with a lot, and he'll be at the camp next week.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, it's difficult. And listen, to be completely honest, my son's father and his mother and I, we had some difficult times. We weren't like besties.
Right.
And she could be tough. But I had to look beyond my faults with her and understand that her son got shot in the chest and died, DOA, and not only was her son shot and killed and murdered, but so was her daughter. Her daughter was murdered in somewhat of the same fashion, close range. So, instead of focusing on, well, why is she acting this way? Or why does she seem like she has so much bottled up anger or frustration? I decided to look at it with compassion and understand that, she's going through, of course I'm dealing with raising my son alone, and my daughter, but she has her own perspective. She lost not one, but 2 children.
2 children.
To gun violence.
God, I tell you. Well, originally when I started this show case, I did quite a few teen summits. And one thing that I found, again, I was going out there, in this community, I didn't know nobody. And, just to raise funds for them so I could have a good teen summer for the kids, I started getting into my daughter said, "Mom, you should make cupcakes." I said, "Raven," I said, "You know what?" And what happened, somebody wanted me to make cupcakes for the event. And I made all these cupcakes, and the people she had didn't even show up. I said, "What am I going to do with all these cupcakes?" All these eggs. I mean, we're talking about dozens of eggs, of different types of cupcakes. I said, "Raven," she said, "Mom, you know what? We can go door to door in the building like they come around here and asking for money and sell the cupcakes." I said, "We got to do something with them. I need to get some money back from them."
Get your entrepreneur.
So anyway, I started doing that. Every time I do a teen summit, I bake cupcakes to help raise some money so I can provide food and stuff for the event that I have in the big studio. Because what I found is that, people recommended places for me to go. I went to one pizza place. The pizza was so horrible. I paid all this money for the pizza. It was horrible. It was freaking horrible. So I said, you know what? Let me get some of these women out here that know they're good cookers. I know they can cook. if they're willing to sponsor and donate and cook a plate or something. I'm not asking for no money. If you can cook a meal, I would appreciate it. And that's what I did. So then it started growing. You know, I could depend on certain people that would do anything. Any of Butterscotch's Teen Summit will cook food, and I tell them specifically what I'm looking for. You know, I'm looking for salad, something healthy, bring bottled water, stuff like that. You know, it don't take much. It's all about doing things together to help in the community.
Absolutely.
But see, what I find is that I'm going to say it, and y'all ain't going to like it, but it's the truth. Now, if the sugar man comes around and he has these big cupcakes, Mama Duke will pull out her $5 and buy that cupcake. I've noticed. I go in the neighborhood. I ask. I said, "Look, I'm only charging $1. Come on, you can't donate." I had to sign up for the kids. I would wear a sign on me and everything. I had no shame. Now I walk up and down, and I said, "Look, even the little mini drug dealer." I said, "Y'all got all this money. Why don't you donate to the community and give some money back? I know y'all hungry because you got the munchies. You know how much?" Hey, one tell me, "Oh, I ain't paying no $2 for no cupcake." I said, "Well, don't pay no $2 for no cupcake." You know, but it's just the point. They always want something for free. But if the sugar man come around with, say, I'll say David's cookies. He's a famous cookie man. Come around, got these cookies, David's famous cookies. You guys will come out your pocketbook and give that man your money. But you won't even help a person of your own stature to raise money in the community to help your children. That's the saddest part about the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? I had to throw that in there. That's the shade part, boo. You know, Butterscotch always got the shade. But people be looking like, wait, I know Butterscotch gonna throw some shade real quick, and that's the shade. And I'm throwing it because I'm back.
Well, you know, we can grow from that. We
can grow from that.
We should. You know, we should. We can turn the tide, and we can start today.
Yes.
You know, at supporting, you know, our businesses.
We have to. We need to.
Local business owners and entrepreneurs. You know, it's important, and we need to definitely empower each other.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We've been saying this for centuries and centuries, though. You know, before your time and before my time. And we're just in a different era with the technology and stuff that has advanced a lot. And you would think that some people are still stuck in their same ways, and they just will not bending. You know, they just don't bend. They just will not bend. And, you know, it's the same thing with our church community. I know when I was growing up, especially in the South, you know, church was family community orientated all the way. No doubt about it. Anything that happened in that community, the church was involved, community-wise. You don't have that now. You have people out with their pocketbooks talking about, we need money for a building fund, we need money for this, we need money for that. But when you go to the pastor and ask them, I need help, I have a family that's in trouble, can y'all donate and help this family out? Oh no, we can't do that. They'll send you to some agency and have you sit up in the agency's office who have you sitting there for hours and they still can't help that family. How is that church community? You have a lot of churches like that out there, and I'm saying it because it's the truth. And those who know, they know what I'm talking about. We have the same thing. We don't have no community base. We have people in our communities, that have agencies and organizations. See, an organization like yours need to be in our community. No, what they have is an organization like the Jewish Board, who have no clue about people of color. They run it in your community, have a program that's not even benefiting your children. This is what continues to plague in our communities. And the reason why it plagues is because people don't take a stand that lives in the community. They sit back, they do nothing, the kids are not benefiting, they don't have no activities that's benefiting your children.
And I believe in economic development. And, you know, if we decide to, you know, support each other, guess who we're going to hire? You know, like, you know, and guess who benefits from that hire? The community. If we continue to give back to the community, if we continue to pour into the community, if we continue to, you know, buy, clothing from, African American designer, if we decide to, you know, purchase our shoes from an African American shoe designer, if we decide to, you know, go to a grocery store or, so many different organizations and businesses out there. But if we could just, you know, decide to strategically place our dollars in our community, I think that, you know, that will go a long way, and we will see economic development on the rise.
Right.
For
well,
us.
That's been the note for a long time, and it continues like that. Certain communities have been able to do that. Like I know, like in Queens have a lot of economical developments. I know because I'm from Queens too, and I have a lot of family in Queens, so I've seen the change. Queens has always had that economical development going on. Some of it became greed along the way, but it's still there. That foundation part is still there. I don't see none of that in Staten Island at all. In the other borough.
I think there's some economic development on the island.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. And I think there are also some good churches out there. Let me tell you that. I didn't say all churches. I know how people get wound up, but I just said they know who I'm talking about. I didn't say I can never say all churches. I can never do that. But I do have to bring that up because it's a known fact. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm just the one who's speaking about it. See, some people, they don't speak about it, but Butterscotch just let it out because that's what I do. You know, I bring it out because it needs to be brought out. And I don't care who don't like it, but it's the truth. And it needs to be talked about. Maybe if people get off their butts and talk about things that need change, you will see more change. I'm not saying that there's no economic development here, but it's very weak compared to any other borough. I do know that for a fact. Staten Island lacks a lot because they have a lot of stuff out here that this community, people who's grown up here, don't even know about. I brought this here. I said, you live here all your life, you didn't know this? I never knew they had this program for our children. Where you been? I ain't even from here and I knew about it. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of things that's going on, like I didn't know about your organization until it was brought to my attention. You know, because I went to communities seeking help for my daughter. You know, and when I was reading your documentary, I said, wow, this program could have helped my child. And still can.
And probably still can, right. But I'm just saying, at the time, you know, because I didn't know your program exists. And I Googled and I Googled stuff. Your program never came up. Never heard about your program. I went to agencies asking for programs. They send you to these non-profitable programs that really the person who's supposed to be working with my daughter, they don't understand her as being a person of color and her ethnic background. So they just sit here pushing paper and say, fill out this form and do these questionnaires. Okay, well I think your daughter needs to be on this. I'm giving you a broad synopsis. It don't happen basically, but that's basically what it comes out to.
What's encouraging about my foundation, I'll share. One of our board members, she chairs. She's a historian, and she handles our cultural competence and sensitivity. And so that's very important to me.
Yes.
That we are relatable, you know, and so we study different faiths so that we are relatable because we all don't practice the same faith or the same denomination, and we have different ethnicities. So for me, it's very important to study that and so and to incorporate that in our work.
Right. So is there anything else you want to show us? Because I want to get to Mr. STARDA also about his programs. You guys have to excuse me.
Just want to share that, you know, our camp is next weekend, August 16th and 17th.
Okay.
The Little Survivors Mini Camp, and it'll be held here on Staten Island at Fort Wadsworth.
Right.
And if you want to learn more information, go to our website, www.Rebecca'sLittleSurvivors.foundation.org. That's everything spelled out, foundation.org. STARDA will be there on that Friday, August 16th.
Yeah, excuse me. Oh my God.
And I'd like to share that we do have the support. I'm pleased that we were able to obtain the support from Councilwoman Debbie Rose.
Okay.
From
Shout out to Debbie Rose.
Yes.
Shout out to Debbie Rose.
Yes.
Shout out to Debbie Rose.
Support from.
She know who I am.
From her office. We've also received support from New York State Assemblyman Charles Fall.
Okay.
His office. So we're very grateful to him. We've also received financial support from Senator Diane Savino. So we appreciate her for that.
All right, Miss Diane.
Yes.
I'm still waiting for the bullying program that I went to Albany with you about. We ain't got to that yet, Miss Savino, but we need to talk. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're working, and he's gonna bring in the musical piece for our youth on that Friday, and I'm just really, really excited about all the partners and everything we can do for these kids.
Well, I look forward to coming and checking it out. I really do.
Please do.
I have a lot on my plate, but you'll remind me.
I sure will.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
Listen,
thank you.
I thank you, and I thank her for coming because, like I said, I would have not known about this program until I met Mr. STARDA, who told me about this young lady and sent me the information. So now we're going to get to Mr. STARDA. Mr. STARDA needs no introduction. Like I said, he is a musician. He's very talented. He has businesses going on, and I'm going to let him.
CEO.
He's a CEO of his own corporate business. He has business. So I'm going to let him tell you a little about his business. And what's the name of your business? It's called We Just Working.
We Just Working.
Let's talk about We Just Working. Real quick.
How y'all doing? So I had to be quiet because y'all were dropping serious gems. And I know when to shut up and just listen to the women. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to be here in such great company. A little bit about We Just Working. We're an entertainment and media umbrella company, and we actually break out into a few different divisions. So actually 4 companies, even though we only told the public that we're one company.
Right.
So We Just Working itself is the umbrella company. We provide memberships to community and professionals. They have different perks for each. And we offer business solutions, business development, just professional development for students as well, a bunch of different workshops, things like that.
Well, what ages are your students you work with students as far as
Right now we're working with 15 and up, but I also teach as well through Sundog Theater. So so I work with 6th graders and up. So they're around 11 years old, but they're awesome kids. So when I find youth in these different programs, we also try to extend opportunities outside of that and adults as well. So I kind of just want to bridge the gap between a little bit of everybody, show everybody that you don't have to wait to be a specific age to be an entrepreneur or to start creating or to start looking for opportunities or creating those conversations with your friends. So.
Right. So, Mr. STARDA, why don't you tell them how did you get started in what made you develop all of this? I mean, you can give a little introduction.
I was a young artist. Yeah, I was a young artist. Growing up, I feel like there was kind of a lack of resources. We really didn't know what was going on. There wasn't this big cultural boom that's happening in Staten Island now. But our actions as young entrepreneurs is why this cultural boom is happening right now. And that's why we want to continue to shed light, bring in youth to kind of keep it going, because these are opportunities that we had just even 10 years ago. Right. I remember just fighting to get grants. I was just the young kid in the room or the only person of color in the room. And just kind of just sitting there trying to see what was going on. I was 19, sitting in these different seminars and asking questions and kind of just speaking on behalf of the young creators that weren't being heard. And then we found some people in these organizations that started rooting for us, slowly but surely, started to fight for us. So, now we're at where we are now, building more opportunities. So now we're kind of just taking on the responsibility to fight, honestly.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Because, I met some artists through Mr. STARDA, and they are truly amazing. And like I always say, the artists that I like to promote them because they need the platform. A lot of stuff that in the media they have to pay for. They don't have to pay for that here. They don't come on Butterscotch show and I introduce them, I let them perform, and let's get their foot out there and let their music be heard because a lot of them can't afford it. A lot of places they go, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. Just for half an hour just to record and stuff like that. You know, that's how people keep things running. But, you know, it becomes very expensive, especially if you have talent and you just don't have the money to support it.
Right.
So I support artists and stuff very well. And one thing I found, Mr. STARDA, on Staten Island, there's a lot of talent out here that I am just totally amazed with.
Right.
And I'm like, I met some young talent out here. And one thing I can say, Mr. STARDA, everybody that I've met that's in the entertainment, music and stuff, they have all been, they're very humble. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the characteristics that I look for in an artist if they're going to come on Butterscotch show. I'm not looking for that rah, 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 rah. They can go somewhere else with that because they won't even play that on BLS either. Or on 105. They'll blog it out because they'll lose their sponsors. You know, because you got some X-rated music out there that people play, but they can't play it just anywhere anyway.
Right. And just to like kind of piggyback off of like resources, that's another reason why we wanted to create memberships and programs. So whether you're in the community membership or professional membership, we offer discounted services. So actually all the companies under our umbrella agree to offer discounted services to the other members in the umbrella. So it actually helps our artists, you know, get a little more for their buck, be able to shoot twice instead of spending a lot of money to shoot once. And then with that, actually creating the right relationships and networking with each other and knowing that they're in a safe community under the umbrella and everything. So, and it's been cool. Like we've even been able to expand past music artists. So now we have like contracts with barbershops, retail stores, and bars and grills, and now they're agreeing to let us to collaborate and turn those into platforms for these young artists. So now we're going to be doing new you know, series so in North and South Shore. So actually starting to bridge the entertainment gap between both shores.
Do you have some stuff you want to show us?
Yeah, I got a little something for
well, let's bring it up. What talk about this? We just working.
So this is actually my co-founder and best friend. Yeah, we try to stay clean out here.
Yeah, you look good.
And, you know,
Starter look. Ooh, you look hot, Starter.
So that's my business partner, Charlie Rock.
Okay. Shout out to Charlie.
Shout out to Charlie Rock.
Shout out.
So we met in high school through a work program actually, and we just happened to have you know, music in common. I was the hip hop guy in the school. He was the rock musician in the school, and us hanging out kind of just like shook up the community because now we got the hip hop kids mosh pitting with the rock kids, people trying to figure out what's going on. But it was cool, and you know, we just kind of grew this idea over the years. We had our own artist development and professional development that we just kind of sought out on our own. So our networks just started growing, and we kind of sat down and was like, all right, like we have, you know, good opportunities, and now we actually around people like we don't even like really see how we're gonna work with them. Like, all right, now we got a circus, but like I just want to make rap beats. Like I don't know what's going on, but you know, but the clown was really cool, and now he wants us to clap. So things, and then just like the politicians, like Debbie Rose. We just did a event for Borough President James Otto. We had the first urban stages at Back to the Beach. The food truck festival at Mount Loretta, Alice Austin a few years ago. So we're actually starting to create that platform for hip hop, R&B, pop. Because for 35 years it was all like classic rock covers, and I love rock. You know, hence me chilling with a rock musician all day. So now we're just trying to like keep that growing, and you know, we were really like, how can we make people that believe in us, even though we're just starting out? How can, you know, we get them to see what we see in other people that deserve the same platform that we do? And then, you know, I was eating some really good fish at work one day, and I was on Facebook like, can't believe I'm getting paid for this. # we just working. A few months later, I was like, it's something similar. I did it again. We just working, and then because of the following we already had, people kind of just like made it into its own brand. It was its own lifestyle. So we had an idea that we wanted to build a company, and we just didn't know what to call it. We didn't know the culture of it. And then the community kind of just made it. I was walking down the block one day, and he was like, we just working, through the car window. I was like, okay, I guess it's his thing.
Just working.
And then we decided, you know, like, why not name name it the company. That's what we're doing. We're just working, whether it's development, whether it's just like us in the day of life. Like we all have our own ways, our own process. And you know, and we're young, we're fun, so we kept it slang. There's no G on it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
To represent the imperfections that come with the
I
process.
love it. So what else you have to show me, STARDA? Because I love it. I just love this young man. He is so intelligent.
Well,
what else he has?
Before we get into that song, that's actually image from her program.
Okay.
But I'm feeling the energy, so this is what I'm trying to get people to do. I'm trying to get people to jump and move, and that's some of what you'll probably see during my performance at her space.
Exactly.
But,
really?
Yeah, that's gonna be it. But we're actually gonna launch. There's a graphic, but we're not gonna pull it up right now. I'm just gonna give you the exclusive.
Okay.
Because we actually officially announce it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want Charlie to kill me. So I've noticed, like, I do a lot of like public speaking, and I do a lot of school tours. Like, try to get them right where they can start networking and start having a conversation like, oh, that guy was cool. Yeah, his performance was cool. I wish I had a beat like that. Oh, I make beats. Oh, boom, now you got it. You know, so kind of.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I admire having youth on my stage, because I want them to make a difference. Because if somebody see you on this platform, they see like, wow, this man is really doing this thing. Wow. This beautiful woman, she really got it going on. I think I want to be a part of that organization. I want to invest in that organization. That's what it's about, the networking and getting it out there. It's very important.
That's like the biggest
That's
thing
the
of
key
it all.
of the whole thing.
Yeah, the personal
You know,
connection.
because you're going to have people who are just always negative. That's what they do. But when they see you doing it, then all of a sudden their whole attitude changed. Oh yeah, now you want to be a part, but you want to be a part. You don't want to be a part of it then. Oh, now you want to be a part because you see how good it really is, huh? Oh, I see. All right, but that's just the way people are.
Especially being a young creative, like, you know, when you're trying to be a first generation billionaire, it's hard for your family to kind of catch that when, like, you know, honestly, but you can't blame them because at that time, city jobs were the things to do. Like, that's how you get your benefits, you get, you know what I'm saying? But now we have things like social media that are creating totally different and new
streams,
exactly. So it's kind of like, it's hard to keep up with, even just like with technology growing. So what we actually wanted to do is figure out how do we make a safe community. Like you said, people misusing social media platforms, cyberbullying, things like that. How do we really monetize like the proper aesthetic and the culture of people, you know, being around and safe to grow, safe to collaborate, safe to network. So we decided to make our own social media, and so we developed the application. And then actually the developers that created the Rolling Stone app are the developers that made our app as well. So they had like a really strong music background already. They're based out in London. Shout out to Sipel and shout out to Erin and Owen and Samantha that hooked us up in the office. I respect y'all.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so what the platform actually is, it's part social media, part content streaming platform, and part calendar for like the events and workshop. So community members, they pay $9.99 per month, and why we put that there is because we're offering a bunch of different like exclusive opportunities and network opportunities. And before we just hand those out, we want to make sure people are going to invest in themselves. So instead of, you know, trying to just Google and trying to find things in the super saturated streams of like SoundCloud, Facebook, and Instagram, it's actually a controlled space where you know you're going to get positive feedback. You know you can collaborate. There's like-minded people there. So it's kind of like a members club in a sense. And then the professionals, they actually have a private portal that the community members actually can't see, because you know even around us it's just like any cafe, you never know who you're sitting next to. You don't know what they're talking about over there. Well, you know that's the CEO of Google, probably is the CEO of Google because he's dressed very comfortable. Billionaires don't need a flashy chain. Just a little reminder to the hip hop artists that so it accesses that platform where they can connect, share ideas. There's a lot of like community engagement contests, polls, so we can like actually work together as a community to see what should come next. And then we have like the content from our company. So we have an entertainment company. We just work in entertainment. the We Just Work and Lifestyle Network company, which is a media company, and then We Just Learning, which is a workshop.
Do you hear this, young man? I'm telling you, you know I got to do another interview with him on different parts, different segments of his stuff, because he got a lot of umbrellas. The man got a lot of umbrellas, but not only that, he is also an entertainer.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want him to show y'all something if he don't mind. And whatever it is, what you got on there? What you got on there? You got something with Caden?
Yeah, I got something with Caden. Shout out, because we Caden came through and did the interview here, so that was awesome. And Thomas is working with us.
Timeless.
That was
Shout
one of
out
my
to
students.
Timeless.
Right, so I was just sitting here kind of trying to play my P. Diddy role. I was tired. I was just silent the whole interview watching them do their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm super proud of them. Shout out to Caden. Go get that Euphoricon project. We just dropped actually an EP from our artist, Kosi. She's going to be here soon.
Oh, yeah.
So Kosi and they did like this, like his and hers EP, which is just fire.
I can't wait to see it.
So we distributed that. That's
These
on
are all
platforms.
young artists and stuff, and they all humble. They work hard. And you know what? It's just amazing. I just sit there and I be like, wow, I wish I was their age. I wish I was their age right now. I could take back the time, honey. I will blow it up.
You still can.
Right. You might have to get on the remix.
We all in the room.
I will blow it up, y'all.
That's dope.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, really, I'm just really grateful
I think it's
for both
gonna be
of you.
cool. I appreciate
Both of
you.
y'all are just amazing.
Appreciate
You know, y'all doing your thing, and like I said,
Thank you
people,
for this platform.
Yes.
You know, we
you're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
You're very
you
welcome.
Know, it's
I appreciate you all because this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people like them who are humble. They are involved in the community, and they're young. I keep saying, well, they're young adults. I don't want to say they're not children. These are grown people, but they're young compared to me. And I'm just so proud of them, you know, and you just got to be proud of them. You know, I mean, they're doing their thing. They really are. Anything else you want to say?
So, I mean, just follow We Just Working, at We Just Working, WeJustWorking.com.
You have anything else you want to show?
Yeah, I mean, we have this song, if we want to play Step Up. So, it's funny, I mentioned Debbie Rose. I created this song for her participatory budgeting campaign.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so
we
used this song, and I did a tour with Caden in a few high schools to gather votes and ideas from kids, and we actually had them work throughout the campaign as well. And then we spent $1 million on the North Shore. So we put, I believe, 6 STEM programs at elementary schools, basketball court in Faber Park. I mentioned some of it in this song. But yeah, so it was a cool experience, and it just, to me, it was like, all right, we're gonna do this, community thing. It went way too far. So now, the people that heard the song on my team was like, yo, you might want to put this on your CD. So we held off on it. But
STARDA, I would love to hear it.
All right, so
can we
have a little listening party real quick?
We ready? Let's go.
All right, cool.
Here's STARDA.
Shout out to Caden on the chorus.
Shout out to Caden and Cozy and Timeless.
And Norlette.
And I don't know the rest of them.
Oh, you'll meet them all.
I took some else till I won. This for my city, my hope. This is the new level up. So where you fall or take the stairs.
Alright, let me follow it. Come on. Turn that up, director.
Oh, we about to party, director.
Turn that up, director.
You can get the Fiji water out. We really about
to. Yeah.
Nice. Always told me that we are our environment, but I don't take pride in it. The what am I fighting with? I was looking for leadership, and I know when I needed it. Till I know what the secret is. If you feeling defeated, you need to be a participatory budgeting wasn't in the discussion when my borough was suffering. Now we building it up again. I start with local government, millions of dollars coming in, opportunity bubbling.
Listen to this, y'all. Listen.
I vow to get them with the now, hit them with the sound, the vibe, to give a little God, but to provide a.
This actually even goes to message between your foundation as well.
I've been down a mighty long time, but I decide when it's my time. It's start right here. Step up till I see a difference. Step up till we all on one. It's all so clear. I've been down a mighty long time, but I decide when it's my time. It's start right here. Step up till I see a difference. Step up till we all on one. It's all so clear. So we'll fall or take a stance. Future's more than circumstance. It's yours if you want. It's yours if you want. I'm talking about. Step up now, don't wait for it. Step up.
We're good, Mr. Director. I can't give them the whole song or they're going to steal.
You heard. We can't get the whole song, y'all. He gave us a little bit. That's what's up.
That's going to be out really soon.
Wonderful.
So,
thank you.
Butterscotch got all the exclusives right now. I see you right there.
Okay, I want to
I love it.
something else.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Exclusive.
Oh,
Go ahead, Miss Jenny. Go ahead. Y'all got a few minutes. Go ahead. Let's do it.
So, you know, I do own and run and founded the foundation.
Right.
But I'm also a designer. And so I just want to share.
Oh no!
Aside from
designer, I got to do a designer show because I got quite a few fashion designers.
You know, collaborating with STARDA. I have recently worked with an artist called Molly Music.
Oh.
So I designed for him, and so he'll be, you know, we'll be working together. But I've already started designing for him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
His designers. Yeah.
So you know we have to come back with that because. I got several designers that have been on the show, and they're young too.
Wonderful.
Believe it or not, they're young. I got one. Her name is Fletcher. Shout out to Fletcher, Marika Fletcher. She is a designer, and then I found out she's also an artist.
Okay.
Beautiful.
She's amazing.
Beautiful.
She's not only a fashion designer, but she's also an artist.
Wonderful.
Her paintings are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so real. And they're all about here.
The heart.
They touch you. Yeah, they really touch you. So that came up. So I definitely want to do a fashion show with nothing but designers. Because that's a big part of people. A lot of people I've noticed that are in entertainment. I'm finding that some of them are really into design and fashions as well.
And I believe in supporting when I was talking about
think
business.
it's all, that's what I'm talking about.
We need to support each other.
Exactly.
You know, Louis, Gucci, I mean.
I only wear, like, even this shirt right now.
I still got this stuff, but you know what?
Shout out to Nicole Trejos.
Okay.
She made this shirt.
Wow.
We just did her art gallery in Hub 17 over the past week, and Nicole Trejos, she's on our team. So I say that to say I only really wear Staten Island artists. Like, this is our hat. This is her shirt, you know, like until we start making jeans, like you're not gonna see a name next to it. But we're trying to, you know, especially as performances, people that are in media and on stage, like, we try to wear our local brands because we represent those. Like, honestly, no shade to Gucci or anything like that, but like, I've never seen like a Gucci drop off like in my middle school. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, and it's all love. Like, I respect everybody's art and craft, but like, I'm definitely community first. You know what I'm saying? And definitely, and not just community, but just emerging community.
Yes,
you know?
Because we, like I said, in any community, we have so much talent out there. You know, and you know, and it's sad because to a certain degree because. You know, even though I've seen people who have had so much talent, you know, they end up being incarcerated because it was a choice they made. But you know what? This young brother I know for a fact, he went to prison years ago for a choice that he made. But he was always talented. But when he vowed to get out of the cage, He had every avenue trying to stop him, take him back to jail, but he stayed strong. He says, you know what? I will never go back to that cage again. I'm going to go back to school, get my education, and start my own design. And he did.
Wonderful.
He did. I ain't going to tell you his name, but he's real famous. I know him personally.
Nice.
But that's what he did.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
he did. He did. You know,
and there's enough
to go around.
Exactly.
Enough to go around.
You know, we can buy from each and every one. We don't have to handpick who I want to, you know, support can support everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so
there's a lot of talent out here. We just need the media coverage and everything, and that's the bulk of everything. Gucci and them, they can afford it. They make commercials, all kinds of them commercials cost a lot of money by the second. You know. Hey,
so now y'all can, highlight we just working for discounted prices. If
but I'm just saying, all these corporations up there because they got the money to be up there like that.
And
that's the bottom line.
Where they do the fashion forecast. I mean, this is 2019. Mm-hmm. In 2 years, there'll be a new fashion wave. Yeah. Guess where they're going? Guess whose community, these fashion forecasters are in. They're in our communities, okay, and then they go back and they design. You are already a part of that work, so
you're just not getting paid for it. That's all.
Unfortunately, so just be unapologetic, be relentless, be courageous, and put your things out there, and I'll support it.
Right.
So,
definitely.
It'll build its own worth, and then like money. I truly feel like once you build worth for something, like money isn't even. It shouldn't even be a part of the conversation because it's just something that's going to naturally come. Like, I feel like money is like energy in any case, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you need to get to the next step of something and you're putting in the right energies to let the universe know you're prepared for that, then the universe is going to bring you that check. You know what I'm saying? You just got to make sure you match the energy when the check comes. Right. You can't say like I wish I had a album out. I wish I had this album out.
Right.
And then your friend is like, I'll give you studio time for $30. And then like you get a check for $200 and the last thing you do is put a beat on. And it's like, how bad do you really want it? Like, cause the Jordans is cool, but like, why not wrap your way into a Jordans deal? Then you're not paying nothing, including your studio time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain ways to go about it. And I feel like
it's just so inspiring to see all this creativity out here, and it's like, wow. Yeah. You really did that. And I also shout out to my girl, Diane. Diane Daniels is also an artist. She's an artist where she does paintings. She's been on this show set case before too, where she actually made a live painting on my set.
Oh, wonderful.
And I ran into her at the festival that I was